So I guess I would like to begin by I'd like you to just sort of um, tell me what were the circumstances of your life that led you into crime, that led you into a life that eventually led to prison. What were the things that you were dealing with that um, made that the choice that you had, the choice that you made for your life?
So it's ironic. I was just having a conversation with someone about this, and I was raised by my grandmother. My mother was addicted to drugs, and she made a incredible, heartfelt decision because she understood that she couldn't take care of me, and so she allowed her mother, to do so. And most people that are, struggling keep their kid, even though they're doing all kinds of stuff. So that has always been in my heart. And I've always tried to make her understand why that was so important. Um, but she felt guilty for my whole life. Um, so I lived with my grandmother, and she raised me. She was the rock of the family. She was the matriarch of the family. She Whatever she said, that was it. Thanksgiving was there. Um, Christmas was there. Didn't matter what. But she was giving. There wasn't nothing she would do. And I have just spoke about this very recently, that she had everything for me, anything I wanted. I wasn't spoiled, but I had what I needed. And I learned as an adult that she walked around in shoes that were $1 and only had one pair. And it was because she only had enough money to do one or the other.
How did it? I mean, were you impacted by the fact that your mother gave you up? Did it change the way you saw yourself?
Hmm.
Did it have an impact on your feeling of self worth? Of
Yeah. So I've always been very empathetic. And I believe it was because of that, because of my mother's decision. And I was always kind of more mature than I was supposed to be. So I understood the circumstances very early in my life. Um, but there was a part of me that felt angry. I was angry. And when I would hear people talk about their mother and their father, um, it pissed me off, because then I would be thinking about them, and I'd then be like, where are they? So I'd be pissed. And over the years, my mother more than my dad would come, and there was like some part of me that would be like, damn, I hope she's doing so good that she could take me. And that never happened. So that was always inside of me, feeling like hopeful. It's a weird thing to feel when you're alone, but because of how my grandmother raised me, um, she made a point very early to make me understand, um, and to understand what my family was going through. Um, but the thoughts of why, what, what's going on, um, I can't really think about it. And I do think about it, but it's like a longing. It's like, constantly longing, like, like, I just be sitting there, and I just be, in the house with my grandmother and more my mom, and she'd come, give it back. I'm like, him in my head, because that was always a thing. But I was in my head thinking that she might be able to get there, because my whole entire life, that was a running theme. She was going to get better and get me. And so every time I felt like happy, and then she'd be there for a couple of days, and she'd leave, and she'd say the same thing, like I'm gonna get better, and like again, it angered me, but
How
I
did that
cried.
how did that anger manifest in your life?
So as a kid, when that was happening, I had the little kid friends, and we played games. And so being angry, I didn't realize this at the time, but I would force myself and like my will on other kids. Like because the anger would allow me to say, I don't care, I'll punch you over. Little kid saying that. Which, you know, that actually helped me later on in my life. But I was so angry again, I didn't think of this. Constantly, whenever anything happened, and it'd be like, who's gonna do what? I would yell. I would yell for no apparent reason. Like, I think I was swearing then, like, mother effer, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? And I was so pissed off. That was the only place I could get that out. That anger that I was crying, because I was crying the day before. And I was pissed. And I cried like a little baby. And I was mad at myself for crying. Um, and so that made me angry. And that anger continued to cause me to be this overly aggressive kid and then man for no reason, and to be willing to yell as a kid. And as an adult, no matter what is going on, I never raise my voice. I talk loud, I never raise my voice. And I was that angry all the time that in any situation with my friends, little kids, um, I'd be hurt, and that'd be my way. And when someone said no, I would love it because we're fighting. You know, we're fighting.
It sounds to me a little bit um, like you are trying to exert some control over
Mm,
your
yes,
surroundings in a way because
yes.
maybe you felt like you weren't able to do that in the things that really mattered. Is that
No, that hits completely, honestly, because so, and that's again that is kind of a theme in my life as well. Like if I lose control, I then come here and go do it somewhere else. I did it when I was adult, and the control of my life as a kid and the longing, I had no control over my father coming and telling me all the things that dads say, um, and then just leave it and not care. I couldn't control that. I couldn't control my mom. Like more than anything, the hope was so great, and then she leave, and I could only the only thing because I couldn't control the house. My grandmother ran that, so the only place I had a outlet to do anything was with my little friends, and so that led all the way up as an adult.
up to getting involved with gangs?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
So,
yeah.
so what drew you into that life?
Um, so that one, it's pretty honestly like it's cut and dry. Um, my grandmother passed away, and again, she was my rock. She was the family rock, but she was my rock, and it was such a um, it was such a hard thing because my entire life up until that point, everything was her. So in a way, my life died. Everything I knew. Um, And so I'm a little kid. I'm 13.
And you needed a family.
I don't have anyone. So my house, the apartment we lived in, my family decided they was going to try to keep it. Moral of the story is that didn't work. My aunt was trying that, and she had too much going on. So my mother lived somewhere else, and finally, I get to live with my mom, and I'm 13. And 2 days later, I'm laying on the couch, and a knock comes, and it's a rent-a-center taking the couch that I'm laying on because she couldn't pay the bill. I don't even know what to say at that time, and I open the door, and then they proceed to take everything in the house. Everything. TV, couch, stick. There is nothing in the house at that time. And she comes back, and she screams and yells. Why did I let them do it as a 13-year-old kid? You know, and I am not understanding. And she left to go get high because she was still there. I don't have food now because she's not worrying about that anymore. And so there is my friends' older brothers that are right around. My older cousin is right around. So I go to ask, that's the very first thing I did. I asked, can I have some money? Please. And my older cousin said, what's going on? I explained it to him. He gave me a lot of money. But that got old. They're not going to give me money forever. That got old. And so every day I've been hanging with them. Not only did it get old, but there was something else happening. I felt like people was my family. I felt a little bit of that love. I felt it every day. Like, okay, I have stability, I have love, and these are my family. And so, yeah, I'm there at 13 years old. And the only way you could stay there is if you have a reason, selling drugs. So they didn't want to give me drugs. Truthfully, they said no. My older cousin said no. I said, all right. I had a crackhead go buy it from me. One thing, small thing, $40. In a week, I had like $25,000. I got all that shit back. And every day, I'm there, getting pats on the back. Yo, I'm feeling that older person appreciating me. At least I thought so. I'm not paying attention to somebody died. Someone got beat up. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about my mother's so happy. We got the stuff.
So a question that I ask Kentel is, how big was your world then?
How big is my world? Up until that point, I never walked or went anywhere except for school past 5 or 6 blocks. No time. For no reason. I went to school and then came back to that block, those areas. I didn't even think about anything else. That was all I knew. That was my world. My world went from my grandmother to this now 6 block radius where I walk around and hang with my friends. And I never thought about anything, and I didn't care about anything else. That was it. I didn't give a shit. Them 6 blocks was it. I had nothing else.
So define for me what respect meant to you then.
that I understand, like, as an adult, like, that was the only thing that mattered. That's it. Nothing else mattered. Because that respect was the top branch of love, of friendship, all of this. If you have that respect, everything else comes with it. That's the only thing you need to have, and everything comes with it. And it meant everything. Nothing else mattered. And is why I that is why I cared so much, because that feeling of love and family and friendship and all of that I felt with them guys is because of that. And so I would do anything to make sure that didn't go anywhere. Anything.
So you're in the gang life. You're running the streets, your 6 block radius. Um, shit goes down, you end up locked up. What did that do to the size of your world?
It was kind of weird, to be honest, like, because the gang that I had got into, which to that point was just my friends, I didn't even think about a gang. It was just my friends. That's everybody who was it. Um, and so now I'm in prison and I'm meeting guys from other cities that are in that same thing. And so now I'm having connections to cities in Massachusetts. So it expanded my world, because now in my mind and in their mind, we are a family and we can go back and forth wherever, because this world is now ours. And so wherever they're at, that's technically me. So it expanded my world because I was able in the game to be able to do that.
And just up until this point, you're sounds like you're like at the core of all of your aspirations in life were just to be loved and respected in that world of yours. And did you see any other possibilities for your life? Did you see any other path for you?
No, absolutely, positively not. When I was I thought of this at first grade. I thought of drugs and selling drugs. First grade. This is the thing I wanted. This is the thing that controlled my mother. This is the only way she does anything, is the drug dealing guy with a gun hanging in the hood. That's the only thing. And she would do anything for that. So my life, and I had actually said, I'm gonna die thugging, bro. This is, I don't give a shit about nothing. I don't care. And I constantly said how much I didn't care, how crazy I was, and I would never do anything else. This is the only thing that matters. And if you think of something else, you're a bitch. How dare you think of something else? This shit is the only thing that matters. And if there's something else, I don't even want to deal with you. It was everything. I didn't care about anything else.
So, how long into your stay in prison did that start to shift? Because I know that by the time I met you, this was before you started college.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you had already moved out of the gang life. You had gotten off that list.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that day that we cried together in the kitchen? You had gotten off that list. I know that you had found religion and you had found faith and you had started thinking about life differently. How did that shift begin?
Um, so I have I think, a unique way of explaining it. I was in the gang for that whole time. When I first got there, I got hurt because of that gang. And I told myself, that shit will never happen again. The only way I could do that is become somebody in the gang. The only person that was saved completely was a leader. So I went about for them years to rise up. I felt I was smarter than them and I would do anything. And so I did slowly, and I'm rising up. And as that's going on, I'm getting deeper and deeper into it because I'm somebody now. I have rank and I'm going up. But that's years. And I become good at it. I become very good at it. I become the best probably in the prison, to be honest, which leads to me being the gang leader of the entire gang I was in. But the thing is, when that happened, is I am now the leader of 100 guys. But I say this, you can only understand politics until you become the president of the United States because he sees everything. And I say now, you can only understand gangs truly is if you're the leader because now I make every decision. And as I'm the leader, I started to feel like this is the most bullshit thing that ever happened. Like, I started to slowly feel jaded that this is what people did with me, make decisions about their life and don't care. Because I would send people to get hurt and not give two shits about it. But I started to think about those things and say, damn, that's what they did with me. They didn't give two shits about me because I don't care about this guy. He must have not cared about me. What the hell? And that got bigger and bigger and bigger until I realized I wanted out of the gang. I just had to get out. Like, but getting out of the gang ends up getting myself, you can get hurt, killed, whatever. So I had to figure a way to do it. I did it. Moral of the story. I got it done. But now I'm vulnerable. But the day I do it, I had a, I have a side of me during all of this that is connecting with a higher power, and it's a whole weird thing. But the point is, I connect, um, and so I get to a point to where my heart is so hateful of this damn gang that had messed my entire damn life up that I say I'm just going down. I'm telling them that's the end of the damn story. I'm also telling them, which no one else had known this, something that had been in my heart for about months now. I had been going to a mosque and there was Muslims there who were the most greatest Muslims I've ever seen. They showed me what it meant and I understood Islam meant this connection to God and being a great person, nice, hot. You could do that anywhere. They did it in prison. Cool. So I go and I tell him those two things. Yo, I'm out. He says, hey, I walk in and he asked me to make decisions about some stuff. He asked me a bunch of nonsense that he wants done. Please do this, please do that. And I tell him I'm out. Oh, and by the way, also I'm Muslim. And that become that is a shift because now my life is vulnerable. But that's what happened.
And that connection that you had realized was false, that you had been holding on to, shifted, and you found it among your Muslim brothers and sisters, and in your religion. So by the time I met you, like I said, you had broken from the gangs. You were, but you still had some ideas about who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that? And like, how did you see yourself? And like, even now that you've gotten out of the gangs, you're part of this thing that you think you're aspiring to be better, but you still had some opinions about who you were at your core. Can you talk about that?
I'm laughing because there was a very simple statement that I constantly made, and I didn't think twice about it. But I have all of these thoughts about this gang life, about what I've lived, about the things I've done, and I'm in that. I'm in all of these things. I'm a part of all of these things. And my thought about all of that is it's complete bullshit, fake, everything's terrible, no heart, harmful, piece of everything bad. I was a part of that. And that's what I am. And I'm always going to be a piece of shit. And I continuously said it and never thought twice, because I thought, even though I was going to do these things and try my hardest, that was still all I would ever be. I could never rise above that. I could never be more than that, because that is what the world says I am. And I believe it, because I know I've done some things. I know I've hurt people. I know I was involved, all these things. And they're right, because I believed I was a piece of shit. And I didn't care. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit, you know? And me and you joked, and you'd constantly say it. Yo, don't say that, bro. Like, what's wrong with you? Come on, you're a good person, bro. And I had never thought twice about it. I didn't think about what that actually meant. I didn't think at all about what it meant in my life. At all. And someone literally stopping me and making me analyze, which that wasn't your goal. You just wanted me to understand that I'm more than that. But I had an understanding you were already my friend. And so I listened to my friends. I care what they say. And so I thought about it. And I started to analyze that I am a piece of shit. But I cannot be. And me constantly saying it is putting more strength in that part of my life. And I believed that was true. I believed I was a piece of shit, but I thought I did have something good in me.
When did that start to shift? When did the
So
belief that you're, tried and true, dyed in the wool piece of shit, and we're never going to be that anything else? When did that start to shift?
So at this time in my life, excuse me, I was doing some things that I had never done. I had been in places I never been. I was a friend. I couldn't give two shits about gay people. And I every day was looking forward to talking to the gay guy. And I couldn't believe it. Like, I'd be going to work and I'm literally thinking, like, cool, we're gonna talk. But I can't stand gay people. Like, they're fucking annoying. Like, all this faggot shit. I wasn't, homophobic, but they suck. They're terrible people. They're just ridiculous. But then I started to befriend you. And at the same time, my everyday things I'm doing is I'm going to the mosque. And I'm also around great people, because you were genuinely a person that I realized was a great person. And they were. And so I was understanding my faith. I was with the Muslim brothers, and they was making me understand that my strength is there, that God put that there. I knew it was there. And the fact that I could completely change something that I believe was ingrained in me, and I could also see that not only was I looking forward to talking to you, but I really started to analyze friendship, love, and these things. I was actually looking at them and knowing that, okay, this is my friend. Like, and the instant I'm realizing that every day and I'm looking at, this is genuinely my friend. I love him, and doesn't matter that he's gay. What the hell does that even mean? And I started to realize, like, that doesn't mean anything. What the hell does anybody even care about it for? And having having a friend.
Is this what it's like for other people to talk to me?
No matter what you talk about, you cry. At that time, I was around people at the mosque every day, good people. And then I was around you every day. And I realized, like, you were genuinely my friend. And what that meant, that was the closest thing I had to my grandmother.
You were just around people who wanted good things for you and were happy when good things are happening in your life. I mean, I get it.
That right there was something I had never had, and I didn't even understand that another person could be happy when something happens for somebody. I genuinely didn't know that because all of the friends I had up until that point were transactional. It was you do something for me and I do something for you, and we're back and forth. And if that's not there, then that's it. There's nothing there. I don't get two shits about you. It's only about this thing. And that had been my life for years. I didn't really understand it. But when I was around people who genuinely cared and around a person who was so much, I could see the love and know that it was real, that has nothing to do with you. Like, I was confused, but I understood, like, that is what's going on. And that was why, because I realized that I could have that in my life, that could be a normal thing. Although I didn't know it even existed up until that point, but I was truly understanding then that for the rest of my life, if I do the good things and all that nonsense, it's nonsense, but that could just be my life. That's what's supposed to be a life. All this other shit's not supposed to be there. It took me that long to understand it, but that wasn't a real life. A real life is that. And I could get that, and I was worthy of that if I had, you know, done the things and do the things I'm supposed to do.
You know what I think it is for us is that when all of the world around us, the the law, the COs, the prison, the administration, would they reduce you constantly to the worst version of yourself, the worst thing that you've done, you tend to internalize it. And unless you can see something else reflected back at you, um, that's the picture that stays in our heads. I was lucky. I had people like Jennifer White, and I was involved in the Tufts College program at that point when we became friends. So there's something about somebody seeing in you something that you're not yet ready to see for yourself
Mm.
that at least makes us aware that it's there. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
that was the truth for me. I feel like there was some of that going on with us,
Yeah.
and with you in the mosque, and with you in these other positive things that you were putting into your life. So I know that we spent a lot of hours standing at those counters talking about school. We talked about the stuff I was learning, and I could see every day how excited you were to learn about the things I was learning about, to have conversations about them. And um, tell me what that was like for you.
Um, that was it was strange because um like I'm going to work and doing the things for work, but like again, I'm seeing like good stuff, like something good. And I'm hearing about you like, yo, we did this, or I learned this. And and you're in prison, and it was the most interesting thing in my like I don't know like, but every day again I'd be looking forward to talking to you like word like sometimes I'd be like, bro, just what you learned today, like just tell me, like you know what I'm saying, like it was that cool, it was that much of a cool thing. um and it started to make me think about bigger things, and it started to make me think about the world, and it started to make me think about maybe I could do that too. I don't know if he's doing it. Maybe nah, I don't know. And I was going back and forth in my mind because it was putting me in a thought like I could be maybe good enough, and then I'd get reduced to the one bad thing I did in my life, and I'd be like, nah, there ain't no way I'm gonna do that shit. There ain't no way. There's no way. Um, and so I started to look at things and think about things and become interested in things that I never had before. And I was thinking about them in a bigger way. And I was thinking about something that, again, I could have in my life.
You were
And
still searching for personal change. You weren't
yes,
really thinking about broader implications at that point.
yes, having having being a person that does that, being a person that has something to do every day, being a person that is respected every day, being a person that is valued every day. And that's why I personally was fighting with it. Honestly, I was wrestling with it because I had known you were an incredible person. You deserve that. I don't know. Yeah, like that's the kind of person that should go to college. Like, bro, you have done shit in your life, you've hurt people, you've done nothing good, you shouldn't. But I knew somewhere in my heart that I did deserve it. So I would go back and forth in my heart fighting like literally, and you didn't know, but like it was a constant thing daily, like, oh, and I'd be in my head like, this is so cool. Like, what if I would do this? And then somewhere in my head, I get pulled back, like, bro, you kidding me? Like, dude, there's no way you're gonna do that. Like, that's for other people, bro. That's for people like Nate, bro, caring people and all that. Like, come on, bro. And that was what was happening. I was wrestling every day personally with, was I worth enough to do it?
What made you finally decide to do it? To go um, apply, to um, give it a shot? You know what finally changed your mind?
Very simple. You. Um, the only reason I did it was because of you. Had you not been in it, there's no way I was doing it. Because seeing people value me, seeing people care, and knowing that, wow, this dude told me like that I'm smart, like, bro, he's not gonna lie to you. Like, damn, like hearing, yo, would you do this? And hearing these things, and I'm like, maybe he's right, you know. And I started to genuinely think about it. I started to really think, like, could I be that kind of person? And every single day, and there is no actual day. I'm gonna be honest. There was no day, but it was a build of someone just genuinely loving you, being your friend, and thinking that you can do things, and seeing that. And it was building daily, and I'd hear it every day. You genuinely was compassionate every day, and giving me hope every day, and that would build up so much that I I got to the point that I knew I knew you weren't lying, and you were my friend. And so if my friend tells me that, then I should do it, because he wouldn't lie to me.
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad I did.
And the program is lucky you did, because I've heard nothing but good things about you as a student. So now you're in the program, and I know that there was a struggle because you had all kinds of roadblocks that were set up that we just kept knocking them down.
Yeah.
We were going to make sure that you got what you needed, that you got into that.
Yeah.
So you're in it. How is your worldview shifting? How is it changing the way you see yourself and what your place in the world might be?
That there was something, even though I knew at that time that I was a good person. I knew it. I had got past wondering. At that time, I knew. I felt good. I felt good about myself, but I didn't know what the hell that meant. What does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Like, all right, cool. Like, your life was devoted to this thing. You got great at it. You were one of the best at it. But the problem is you were one of the best at it. You took and spent all your life doing that. You don't have anything else. And so being in there, knowing that, not even knowing, but seeing the world bigger, looking at things that happen, and knowing now as I'm reading things about the world and hearing things about the world and knowing things now about the world, like, I'm now looking at the world as something that is is a part of me. I'm a part of that world, like, as a bigger way. And I'm hearing from, professors and Hillary and Katie, like, yo, like, damn, like, good things about me, but continuously the same things. And that those things, when they were telling me things and I was getting from everybody, school gave me empathy, because I was learning genuinely what that meant. I knew the word and I understood it, but I didn't ever experience it because I didn't give a shit. School made me think about empathy, truly the word. Like, we're doing something with the damn word in the class. And I fully grasped, like, wow, that's what that is. And I started to feel that mattered in my life. That transitioned as I'm feeling that, because it had became like a core part of my everyday when I'm in school, empathizing with the world, empathizing with myself, empathizing with the professors, caring about all of it. It has me thinking about the world and what that means. And could I empathize with people that hate me? Could I empathize with people that are going through things that my parents are going through? And the answer that I came to is yes. And so feeling that and having got like the most hurt, crazy thing to happen and get past that, I'm valuing my life. I believe life matters. And it makes me now think about what my family had went through. And so now I'm thinking about places and what that means. Who does that? Like, how do you do that? And I found out about recovery centers, and I found out about these type of things. And I knew about detoxes, but they didn't have stuff like this when I was home. And I can't help but think if these were around, maybe my parents would be alive. And so with that, I felt I I knew what I wanted to do in my life. It gave me I had the feelings of I'm a man and I'm a human and I love myself, but it gave me a direction for the rest of my life.
So your worldview is shifting. You're starting to see yourself as part of the larger world. Um, for me, even knowing that I had gotten the parole and I was going to walk out the door, um, I didn't know what to expect.
Hmm.
Um, what were you expecting? What were your expectations of your life outside of prison?
Um, it was kind of weird. I was dealing with a very, very, very toxic relationship, and that was coming into my life. Um, but there was something also along with that that was making me hurt daily. And it started, I don't even know if I really thought I belonged going to the campus at Tufts. Um, what I was expecting, um, I was expecting everything to be back to what it was. Not in a good way, that I would only be that. What happened and the harm I did, that would be it. I was expecting that the world to see me only as that.
I felt that same thing. I worried that I would walk out into the world and no matter what, I mean, I could surround myself with, the Tufts people and
Right,
whatever,
right.
and I could have that influence in my life, but the larger world was still going to see me as garbage. And
Yes. Yes.
um, I was afraid of that. I completely get that.
Yeah. Sure.
What actually happened?
Um, so what happened was, you know, the partaker people, they were there. Someone that I really care about. Um, um, my girlfriend now, she was there for me, but just as friends. And I not only at Tufts, when I walked out, people, not that they didn't care, people were willing to try to look at me as a person. The, the idea that it shocked me, honestly, how many people are willing to give you a chance. It shocked me. It shocked the hell out of me. And all of the things that I was feeling that all of that would happen, it didn't. So I walked around in the world, and what happened is I got a chance. People gave me a chance. The world gave me a chance.
That's huge. And
Hmm.
how do you see yourself today? I mean, we were talking a little while ago about the skills that you had to develop as a gang leader and how those skills are still serving you
Yeah.
in your life. But going from constantly saying I'm just a piece of shit to today, how do you see yourself today?
I see myself as a good person, and it's crazy to say it because I know it's true, and I fight every day for that. I make concerted effort, and I know, and I look at myself, and I know that I'm a good person. And because of being here, I've said this before, very recently, I've had to get these skills. I have to do all these things in my life, and it's led me here. And I didn't really know if I would be accepted into what I was hoping to do, but I knew there were things that I used to have to do, talking to people, that could serve me if I got a chance in the place that I wanted to be, in helping people that were addicted to drugs. And I got that chance, and it all kind of culminated in one very simple thing, that I had went out one day and something happened, and I had got like a bunch of crap done, and um, I got people to come here. I got more people to want me to talk. I got people that didn't know about the place wanting to come. It was just a great day. It was like a few hours of just like I was just on. I don't know. I was, people were. I was telling them about Step Rocks, and I felt so amazing. And then I got back, and I went into the kitchen, and I was just doing something, and like literally, I think this is the only thing that's ever happened in my entire life. I had an epiphany, like literally an epiphany, that everything I had ever learned in my life, all of the bad things, there was things that were valuable that I was learning, and all of that, and that all of that had transitioned in a good way into me getting this job and to be able to be great at it. And it literally is the thing that I believe, the only thing that literally everything that I am, I can use that to help people by having this. And I knew, wow, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I didn't even know what the hell that meant, but I knew it. And I knew that that was a real thing, and that's what I felt.
So my hope is that um, guys that are in the program that are incarcerated still um, are going to hear some of these words of yours, that they're going to hear your journey to this place. And you've said that a big part of what made you feel like you could do it was that there was just somebody there to tell you that they
Yeah.
believed that you could. What would you say to those men and women who are going through this right now and are still unsure, but have people around them that are looking to them and wondering? What would you say to them?
Um, believe, like, believe. It's it is something that truly is a real thing. It's not some idea. It's not a thought. It's not a maybe. It is real. Like, as tangible as this wall, it is real. Believe what they are saying, and I'm saying to you, like, it's real. It's not something that it's a jail thing, kind of to get some good time, and you know, it's not that. Like, I in my I am in my dream job doing the shit that I can't believe and love I'm doing, and I'm at where I feel I come to work and I'm not working ever. Every day I feel like I love, like, this is what I'm doing. And all of that shit happened because of that. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here. Point blank, period. Not a maybe, not like, oh, I could have. Nothing. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here. And I'm here saying that everything in my life feels good. So much so that I worry sometimes. And I literally every day wake up and like, I'm weirded out because it's just that good. And I'm like, hold on, I'm waiting for a shoe to drop. Like, this shit is too good.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I feel too good. I'm not supposed to feel this good. And that shit all came because of that. Believe it, that shit is real. That's what I would say.
So I know you told me that I shouldn't ask you this question because you saw someone else's response, but I'm just curious. I just want to know, how big is your world now?
Um, um, so understanding culture, understanding people, understanding continents and countries, and you know all of these things, understanding all of it and learning about all of it has made me feel that my world is the world. My world is literally the world. 20 minutes ago, I was on the phone with somebody from Amsterdam. 20 minutes ago. My world is whatever the F I want it to be. Literally, whatever I want it to be. The entire world, this entire planet, I'm a citizen of the world. I understand what that dumbass saying means. I know what it means now, and that's what I am.
So in this shift, on going from your whole world being that 6 blocks to broadening a little bit and meeting some people from other cities in the nearby area to um, making it through prison and getting out. Um, what kind of your 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 worldview, your the possibilities for your life were always pretty limited.
Hmm.
What are your limits now?
It's so ridiculous. Like, I was just talking about one of my friends at the state house constantly, like legit, constantly there at the mother effing state house, talking to everybody there. Like, literally, I truly feel that the person I am in, like, what people will see in me, the limits to it is honestly, before Trump got in again, there was a president maybe I thought I couldn't be. And I swear I'm not joking. I believe in 10 years, maybe 5, someone like me could genuinely be the effing president. My limits now, and it's effing bananas to say that, but it's true. I don't have a limit. I think literally, if I activated myself to only focus on that one thing, I don't think I can't do anything. I think I can actually do whatever the hell I want. Truly.
I think so too. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome. I love you.
Um,